very good question. I don't believe anybody is ever entirely there.
It's a good question. It's probably the largest massacre in the Latin American history, modern Latin American history.
I mean, why then do they react? If we're saying that it's chemical...
That is a very good question.
And we are back again on today's show. I'm very excited about my next guest. If you're a regular listener of this show, you've known we've talked about her many times over the past few years, trying to book her on the show. We're very happy to have her in studio with us. It's Marianne Faithfull. She has a new book out called Faithfull, an Autobiography, a new album out called Faithfull. It's Marianne Faithfull. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm very well.
Is it different going out this time and talking about yourself as opposed to going out and performing?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I get weekends off, so which is wonderful, because and the weekend I don't have to talk about myself. But I knew that I didn't quite understand. I still don't quite understand it. Why you have to, if you write a book, why do you have to go and explain it to people? But I'm prepared to do it for a bit.
Now, as a casting director, if I'm sitting there trying to cast Friends, why do you think they picked you? I mean, there are so many actors out there.
That's that's a whole other story. The creators of Dream On, Marta Kaufman and David Crane, and the other executive producers, guy Kevin Bright, they tell me now that they wrote this part for me, which was incredibly flattering. But they kind of had an idea all along that they wanted me, ideally, to play this part.
And the next day when I went to the special screening, I came to a room full of men wearing Nazi uniforms who were watching a film where 5 men were raping an 8-year-old girl, and when the raping was done, they killed the girl. And at that, the man in the room stood up and started cheering. And I said, that's it. I'm not going to let this happen. I'm not as a Jew, as a human being, I'm not going to sit aside. And that's when I decided to infiltrate the neo-Nazis.
What goes on in the heads of these people that makes them think this is all okay? I mean, even if, let's say, they realize that they want to do whatever they want to do.
Right.
But they look back at history and they see what happened with the Nazis, and they know what a negative reputation...
They don't believe it. These guys believe, the neo-Nazis absolutely believe that everything that is said about this nonsense called the Holocaust is a bunch of nonsense.
But if they believe that it's a bunch of nonsense, do they want to repeat it? Do they want to do...
Absolutely, 100%. They believe that Hitler got stabbed in the back by his generals. And had he not been stabbed in the back, within a year, the whole situation would have been different, and Germany would rule the world.
Now, you were saying all the different things you're in, and the different boards of directors and the places you are. Does it ever, having had Marianne as your past, make it difficult to be taken serious in a business kind of setting?
No, I find just the opposite.
Really?
I find there's an acceptance. Most of the letters I get about my clothes, I knew Marianne would think of something nice like this. I mean, I wonder if I'd have played Ginger, for instance,
right.
or a witch on one of those soap operas, if you'd have that same rapport. I don't know. They trust me.
What is something we don't understand as the consuming public, the public out there looking at the book, about what it takes to do something like that?
It takes a lot of patience, actually, to have a camera pointed at you while you're naked. I think.
I'm trying to hide that one little part,
yeah.
or a big part. It depends
right.
who you are.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
It's. I don't know. I just think there's a lot of patience and
a lot of creativity.
A Woman of Substance was, about 12 weeks in hardcover on the New York Times bestseller list, but it was 49 weeks when it came out in paperback.
Well, then what is it that you know? What is it that you tap into that makes people want to read your books?
I mean, I've known it subconsciously, I suppose, but it's been said to me a lot on this promotion tour. And people have said, thank you for writing about women the way you do. You are the first novelist ever to give women self-empowerment.
You hadn't lived till you've heard H. Ross pour him out. You know, he really does sound exactly like a Chihuahua. What are you doing using me as some kind of big rich guy in your column? Don't you read your own paper? I got fired from my job at General Motors. I can't get my company back. It's really pretty rich.
So does it mean something to you when the people that you write about, these big political names, are contacting you? Does that make you feel like you hit the right nerve, you've done something right?
Actually, I aspired in my early days to become a martyr to honest journalism. I mean, I thought surely sooner or later I'd get shot in the back or horsewhipped by some evil black hat whom I had appropriately blasted. And all that ever happens is I see them the next day in the Capitol and they say, baby, you put my name in your paper. give me a big hug. It's very discouraging.
When you write humor, though, how do you know that humor is funny when you're writing it?
I don't. I really don't. I mean, I tend not to write humor, as such.
Right.
When we were writing Python, though, we relied on each other to tell us whether it was funny or not. Mike Palin and I would always write together, so we'd sort of spend a couple of days writing alone. Then Mike and I would get together and read out stuff and either laugh or not laugh at each other's material, and then we'd swap over. But we were really relying on each other's, laughter, and you don't really know whether something's funny until somebody laughs at it.
The book out there, I Love Chocolate Cookbook. Mrs. Fields, thank you very much for coming in.
Ernie.
A pleasure to get to meet you in person finally.
I know.
And you'll come back on the show again, I'm sure.
Oh, I hope so.
I hope
Am
so,
I
too.
invited?
Of course.
Okay,
anytime
I'm
you
back.
Want. And we're going to take a
Okay.
break. We'll be right back with more Crosstalk. And once again, it's the I Love Chocolate Cookbook. It's out there. So are the stores. You can go and get the cookies anytime you want, or you can bake them yourself even now. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with more Crosstalk right after this.
You are
Thank you.
so good.
Oh, of course he's good.